Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CG Rated Books, and yet another book haul. Right? I don't I don't normally do a lot of book hauls, but I mentioned that I was going to be doing a few, and I mentioned that I've got a big one coming, but this one is actually pretty doggone big. Why? Because it's my first ever tag team book haul. Now, one of my original Booktube neighbors, Dr. L, that's right, Dr. L, Logan over there at Novel Insights, and I are now associates, not just neighbors, but associates. And we realized that we actually live pretty much in the same town. So we were able to coordinate a book haul together. We went to my bookshop of choice, the Friends of the Killer Library, of course, and we did a book haul together. We actually made two stops, made a morning of it, actually, and I got a chance to fellowship with Logan, and it was awesome experience. It really is. He is one hell of a guy, and I appreciate him being willing to even meet up, spend time. We're both introverts. We both live a fairly simple life and decided that this is something pretty cool. So that's what we did. And we got a chance to visit the Friends of the Keller Library in Keller, Texas, and then the Half Price Bookstore in Watauga, Texas. Of course, they're both in the same major city. They're both in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is that big. I just wanted to cover what we picked up on those stops. Look at this. Look at this. Yes. So, two stops. I think there's 11 books here, 6 and 5. 11 books. So, my first on the list for today is The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Now, this is a old World War Holocaust romance story, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I have recently finished, was that this year? This would be, if I can recall, my second Holocaust era novel. The London House was the other. And so now we have The Tattooist of Auschwitz. This is an encampment victim that was hired as a tattooist and ends up coming across a young lady that needs to be tattooed with her numbers and falls in love with her. So, historical fiction, romance. Then I have Both of Me by Jonathan Fryson. This is actually another controversial subject matter. A young lady ends up falling in love or falling for an individual suffering from MPD, that's multiple personality disorder. So they were on an airplane. They end up getting their identical bags switched. So she works very hard to find this guy, and then when she actually finds him, he doesn't remember her because she met one of his ulterior egos. Alter egos? Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting read. Then we also have this is very awkward for me because this is actually going to be the second title for me with Nicholas Sparks. I read A Walk to Remember. Now, some of you guys are going to be familiar with this guy. He is a male author who writes romance. But it's your male perspective on romance. And so the very first one I saw practically rated it a 5-star, A Walk to Remember. One of the few 5 stars that I've rated. So I was able to find this one at the Friends of the Keller Library. This was very interesting. I don't know much about it, but an individual named Jeremy is sworn, he had just recovered from a very bad and failed marriage, and made a promise to himself, a vow to himself that he would never do that again. And now we find that he has fallen in love, he's engaged, and they're in the process of starting a family. So that's going to be an interesting read for me as well. Then we have Red Tide by Jeff Lindsay. Now this one, I just found out because I went through some of his books and I was trying to find out what the backdrops, remind myself what some of the backdrops were for these stories. And this is actually book number 2 in a series. So I didn't realize that. It's not listed anywhere. I pulled it up on Goodreads when I found it and didn't see the information about book number 1. But this is the gentleman that wrote the, the Dexter series. Yeah. So this one is going to be a very interesting story. Billy Knight's the main character. It's going to be an ongoing thing. This is book 2. I don't know how many books are out, but I'm very interested in reading this one. So this is the main protagonist, the main character is an ex-cop. And this is actually considered a horror or thriller. So looking forward to that. I'm not familiar with Fryson. So, and then we've got book number 5, which is The Girl I Used to Be by April Henry. Now this is going to be my 3rd title. I haven't read the second one yet because I just got it because I'm doing these mini book hauls. This is sort of a mini book haul. It's actually a little bit longer than the other one. This was actually 11 books. But we have April Henry. The very first title I read was The Lonely Dead, which is a YA murder mystery. And I believe most of her titles are murder mysteries, but this one here I believe is a thriller. And so I'm looking forward to getting into I like April Henry's writing style. So we'll get into this one really, really, really quick. And then, all right, so this is another one that I'm not familiar with. Jane Corey's My Husband's Wife. Now, I'm not really sure too much about this one because I don't remember anything about picking this one up. And I think maybe it was the, You don't normally do this, right? You don't read the blurbs on the book because you'll end up purchasing things that don't spring forth fruit. But this one really caught my eye and really, really drew my interest. So, An Eye for an Eye, A Wife for a Wife. Provocative, delicious, and addictive. And that just caught me, along with the title, of course. And the title and the front cover, it really, 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 really drew my attention. So here we go with that one. And that's what we got from the Friends of the Keller Library. Following that, we went down to Half Price Books, and it was pretty awesome to be able to show these because Logan hadn't been to either one of these spots. So it was nice to be able to show him. But I got a chance to learn a little bit more about what he really, really enjoys reading. And that's pretty exciting, some of the titles and some of the genre that he gets involved into. And so that was actually pretty exciting, pretty fun to do. So something to break the monotony. Tag team book hauls, right? Is that a thing? Has that been done? Yeah, it's going to be a thing now. It will be. Okay, so moving on to the first book that we collected. We were standing out in the hall, went to Half Price Books, walked up to the front door, and of course they had carts outside. And when they have carts outside, that's their rebated, discounted books. And I didn't find this one. Logan found it, and he was nice enough to let me have it because I saw it, and as I was reaching for it, I grabbed a different book because that book drew my attention. I'll do that one. We'll do that one next. But this is The Christmas Card Crime, and this is actually a collection of short stories during winter and Christmas season. And I believe there is a total of 10 stories in here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stories. And so I'm excited about this one. And I believe these are murder mysteries, murder mystery stories. They are a collection of mystery stories, but I believe they are murder mysteries. So looking forward to that. These are written by Martin Edwards, and this is part of the British Library Crime Classics. And I love the book itself. I think this was one of the things that kind of got Logan's attention. He was looking for winter Christmassy books. He saw the cover, saw the bind on that said the Christmas Card Crimes. He grabbed it and then immediately was enthralled by the cover of this book. And so, as he was picking it up, I was like, "Dadgummit!" I think I wanted to look at that one. And before Logan, being an outstanding guy, before he even began to even check the book out, read the blurbs and the synopsis and the titles of the stories included, immediately closed the book and said, "You want it? You want it? You want it?" And I'm like, I felt bad, but I was like, "Yes, yes, I do." And so there we are. I don't have a lot of short story collections, so here we go. That's my first one. But in the process, I was reaching for this one, Claire Fuller's "The Memory of Animals," and I believe this is a dystopian. I was having the whole conversation with him about how I am naturally drawn to post-pandemic, dystopian, in-world, and historical fiction novels. Like when I'm going through my list and my steps for selecting and purchasing a book, or actually finding a book, even at the library, I have a tendency to grab pen. I don't know what it is. Usually it's the title that first grabs me, then the actual book itself, the physical aspects of the book, and then I start reading blurbs. I'll start fanning through the pages, and usually an overall comfort will befall me, and I would grab that book. So that's usually how I select them. But 9 times out of 10, I get them home and I open them up and I find out it's a dystopian or a historical fiction, and so that's kind of weird. But that's what this is, actually. The Memory of Animals creates a world within a world where a young woman, marine biologist, faces off with a global pandemic and the hopes for a vaccine by diving into her own past. She might retrieve some fragment that could secure self-preservation as well as, if not humanity, then at least the human heart. So, a world without animals, and an ongoing pandemic. So I'm looking forward to this read. Then we have, I don't know Wiley. I don't know the name of the author. Philip Wiley. Okay. So this is another this is kind of weird. Okay, now I'm paying attention. Please forgive. So this is The Disappearance by Philip Wiley. I thought it was The Disappearance of Philip Wiley, but it is The Disappearance by Philip Wiley. He is the author of this title. Now this is another weird in the world post-apocalyptic type deal, and it's not really truly apocalyptic, but the greatest thing in existence has left the face of the earth. This is the disappearance of all women from planet Earth, right? The female of the species had vanished on the afternoon of the second Tuesday of February at 4 minutes and 52 seconds past 4 o'clock. The event occurred universally at the same instant without regard to time belts and was followed by such phenomenon as might be expected after the happenings of that nature. So this is a story, rather thick, heavy plot. It's in excess of 400 pages, which is usually one of my top leading cutoffs for quick reads. I like quick reads. But yes, the disappearance. So that one really caught me off guard. This is also one of the books that I found on the shelf on the outside. And I'm like, why would anybody not want that? Why is that on the discount rack? So, yes. And let me see. Does it say? Doesn't say, but I think the book was released in 2004. So, very interesting. And then the last two are nonfictions. Most folks know that I do have a penchant for poetry. The first one is The Poet's Dictionary, right? A handbook of prosody and poetic devices, right? So this is something that's going to help me out. I'm in the process of self-publishing 3 different poetic pieces or collections. And so in my writing, I thought that this would be rather useful, as well as the Teachers in Writing's Handbook of Poetic Forms, edited by Ron Padgett. So I got this book as well. So these are nonfiction, not self-help, but instructional and informative books on poetic prose. And that is my collection. That is one heck of a book haul, right? I got some very interesting titles in here, and I am excited about that because of me building my shelves, having bookshelves, and now trying to fill those shelves. And I've got an awesome collection of titles, and each one of them has my desire and appreciation and want to start reading them right away, right? Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. Logan, I am tagging you for your video because Logan got, as you saw the video in the beginning, the picture in the very beginning of the video, that was Logan and I at the store. And we're going to follow up with a quick little 3-picture montage at the end of this video. And I do hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. And as always, especially if you're tag teaming your book hauls, keep reading.